Welcome to Peter and Roughie's football show here on STV2. The main talking points on tonight's programme: Scotland draw Israel and Albania in the Nations League. Michael Devlin all set for Hamilton exit. Brendan Rodgers hails Griffiths after Celtic fight back. Yeah, lots to talk about on the programme tonight. Alan Ruff is alongside me, Peter Martin. It's Wednesday and our new signing confirmed. He's in the chair on a regular basis for us. The former Rangers and Scotland captain, Barry Ferguson. It took a bit of while to negotiate it all, Ruffy, but just like Walter Smith, we gave him a couple of early appearances, then we didn't phone him or speak to him, and now we've brought him in.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter who you are on this show. Doesn't matter who you are on this show, you've got to go through a trial period. Yeah. But obviously, he came up to scratch, and it's good to get him.
Yeah, absolutely. There you are. Ruffy's given us his backing, so you're all right. I mentioned the fact that there's lots of football to discuss on the programme tonight. We start at Firhill. It was Partick Thistle 1, Celtic 2. It looked, Ruffy, as if it was going to be a little bit of a shock for Celtic, with Thistle scoring first.
Yeah, I think the first half was pretty even. Obviously, this mistake from Lustig brought Partick Thistle a penalty. Obviously, if you can see it again, he makes a mess of it, tries to tug, small tug. I have to say all credit to Story. Not very often you see a centre forward trying to stay on his feet and continue. But again, referee, good shout, let the play go.
Should he have been red
called
carded?
It back. No, I don't think so. I think Boyata was coming in behind and other players. But Connor Salmon scoring goals regularly just now, a lot of confidence to take this. Sends Craig the wrong way, and you can see the fans behind there absolutely delirious. And to get a goal, must have been high hopes for Partick Thistle, but I think you always know that Celtic are going to come back, and they did in the second half. Tierney gets the ball here, plays a good ball through to Sinclair. Controversial coming up. It's a clumsy challenge. I'm debatable whether Sinclair could have done better.
Is it a penalty in your mind?
No.
Barry?
No.
I disagree with him in two fronts. That's definitely 100% penalty.
Yeah. Enough to go down like that.
Yeah, it's a penalty.
Fall.
It's a 100% stonewall penalty for me.
Well, I would disagree. I think that he had the chance. He'd already beat him with the tackle, and he could have went on. But he's picked himself up. He's obviously wanting to try and get back into form and score as many goals. Goal at the weekend, and then another goal here. This one here could have been prevented. Clumsy challenge by the defender. He's got to put his foot through that. I mean, Lee Griffiths shouldn't have been able to get where he was. We can see it here again. It's just a 50-50. Just make a decent tackle.
It's a great
finish, but he's confident, and that's why a lot of people are trying to decide, why is this man on the bench? Why is he on the bench and coming on and playing for 45 minutes? But that's the manager's decision.
Yeah, absolutely. We just signed Fergie and he's already arguing with the Star. Can you believe it? No, I take your point though. As far as the two penalty decisions, I thought he got it right. As far as the Lee Griffiths, the debate continues over who should be starting. There's Dembele sitting on the bench, which is causing all sorts of consternation. I mean, if you look at the stats on them, I mean, Griffiths, there's his game started, there's the goals scored. He's one of those players that I think the Celtic fans love him. Odsonne Edouard, I think, is somebody who is one for the future. And there's Moussa Dembele. I think for the first time this week, over the last 7 days, Chris Davis and Brendan Rodgers, Barry, are now looking and saying he could be on his way.
Yep, it looks that way, that Dembele's going to be leaving Celtic in this window. But for me, I find it strange that Lee Griffiths doesn't start more games for Celtic. For me, he's the best forward, not just at Celtic, but in Scotland. You've seen the difference he made last night when they come on the second half. Celtic up to tempo. He causes centre-halves all sorts of problems, and you've seen with that finish, I know Ruffy says it was a bit lucky, maybe the defender should have cleared it, but the finish at the end of the day was different class, and for me, he should be playing week in, week out for Celtic.
Yeah, do you think, and we've discussed this yesterday, but now that it seems to be gathering more and more pace, do you think Celtic have maybe missed the highest level of where potentially they could get the biggest amount of money for him? Because he hasn't been playing, he's looked out of sorts for a good few months.
I think if it was in the summer, at the start of the season, they would have got the money that's getting bandied about the £20 million mark, but I don't think they'll get that for Dembele. I think they might get in between 10 and 15 million. It's still a good profit. I think they bought him for £500,000, so it's still a decent bit of money they'll get in. I do like Dembele, but listen, if Celtic got offered that kind of money, they've got to let the guy go.
Yeah, well, I mean, the biggest problem here, Roughie, and he's getting a little bit irked about it all, the manager, Brendan Rodgers, I'm talking about, but the biggest problem for him is balancing the sale of one player and getting sufficient quality in that's going to make sure that, you know, a player that can come in, score goals, hit the ground running and fit in before the Europa League. I would hate to think he's going to sign a player that sits on the bench.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You know, the target now is the Europa Cup, and if Dembele goes, you're left with the second and third strikers, because if the European games were there, Dembele would be number one choice. So if he leaves, you're left with Lee Griffiths and Eduardo, who are second and third choices. I mean, I still think Lee Griffiths can cause problems, you know, in the Europa Cup. I think he's proven that he can score goals at most levels. You know, it just depends on how and quickly they bring somebody in, and if it's the target that they want.
I think they know that Dembele, high possibility that he will leave. Surely Brendan Rodgers has got somebody in mind. He'll have one or two targets. So if he does go, I do still think they'll bring in another quality striker, because he's made it clear, not just in the striker front, but if he's going to bring new players in, they've got to be a certain quality.
Okay, let's have a look at some of the back page headlines from the newspapers. Obviously, Partick Thistle against Celtic is going to dominate them. But again, another headline trying to grab the attention of a number of people is Go Now. This is the Daily Record saying they've taken a poll and 91% want Stuart Regan to go as the chief executive. And of course, just a relation there to the fight. The gloves are off between Neil Lennon and Craig Levein. It's a battle that I am absolutely loving day by day. And there's a worry over Ryan Jack and Danny Wilson as well. We'll talk about at Rangers. Reds run the gauntlet. This, of course, with McInnes expecting a hot reception in that match at Ibrox, Rangers and Aberdeen, which we'll discuss, which is not too far away from kicking off. Couple of matches from last night as well. I mean, the Scottish Cup draw was, I think, a lot of teams still to determine whether they're in the fifth round or not, Roughie. But last night we had a couple of games, as you can see. There's Livingston 0, Falkirk 1. The winner, just one goal, Regan Tumulty, and Peterhead 2, Dumbarton 3. So Falkirk will now face the winner of Formartine or Cove Rangers, and Dumbarton have managed to get a game against Morton for their win. First of all, Falkirk, he just seems to be turning things around.
Yeah, and it's taken him a wee while. You know, everybody was beginning to wonder when they would get their act together. He shuffled the pack a wee bit. You know, he's brought a lot of players in, which obviously players that he wants. You know, and he's got that result. And certainly you have to say the next draw is a wee bit favourable to him. So that could be a good cup run for Falkirk.
Yeah, he's got something, Paul Hartley. I mean, at Alloa, he, I thought, you know, had a really good time with Alloa, but then I thought he was hastily sacked at Dundee. I thought they got rid of him too quickly.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit harsh at Dundee. I thought he'd done a really good job. I know he went through a sticky patch, but all managers go through that. But for me, he's a manager that I rate highly. As Roughie says, he went into Falkirk. He struggled at the start, but he had a fantastic result against Dundee United. And then they went up to, I think it was under Nesson, and get beat easily, but then they rebounded on the Saturday and beat a very good Morton team. So, no, I think give him a bit of time, I think he'll get it right at Falkirk.
Yeah. Am I right in thinking you would have played against each other at youth level?
Yep, we grew up probably half a mile from each other in Hamilton. Paul was a year above me at Boys Club. And it's good guys for the same area. I like to see guys go on and do well, and he had a really good career, and he's went into management. He's done really well at that as well. Yeah,
it's quite unusual, Roughie, to see two posers from the same area, isn't it? Let's look at one man we've had as a guest in here, which is of course Steve Aitken. Now I think, I'm amazed that some other clubs haven't had a look at him. He's part-time with Dumbarton. They'll have a battle to even stay in that division. So what he's doing there, I mean, they managed to defeat a Peterhead side that have been going great guns.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look at that league, you know, that you usually can count in the 4 or 5 teams who are going to be up the top of that division, but none of them want to play Dumbarton, because every time a big game comes up, a game they're expected to win, Dumbarton are a team who can take points off bigger clubs, and so yeah, he's done remarkably well. It's a part-time club, and there's so many full-time clubs in that division. It's a hard task for him, but certainly they'll be looking for a good run as well in the Cup.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people say, well, they're expected to win against Peterhead. And Peterhead, to be fair, Jim McAnally said that Dumbarton's keeper played an absolute blinder, but you still have to do the job and get into the next round.
Yeah, job done. A long journey as well. As you said, they're part-time. Guys will be working during the day. Same for Peterhead players as well. But to go up there and come away, listen, the only thing they wanted was in the next round. Always keep an eye out on Dumbarton's results as well, because obviously Ian Durrant's there. He's a player that I looked up to when I was younger, so it's good to see them doing well.
Yeah, we had Durrant on a regular basis on the programme. Roughie was really good, funny and knowledgeable, and don't want to put any pressure on the wee man, that's all I'm saying.
No, but he wasn't as complimentary as Barry was about him. You know.
Yeah, that's nice to know. Well, I hope they get beat in the next round.
I have to tell you, Durant was an absolute genius on the park, and great banter here in the studio. We wish him well at Dumbarton with Steve Aitken. After the break, we're going to talk about Neil Lennon and Craig Levein. Who would you take in a 1-to-1 in the Rumble in the capital? That's on the agenda next. Welcome back to Peter and Roughie's football show here on STV2. Alan Rough and Barry Ferguson are with me, Peter Martin. Monday to Thursday, we're on 7:30. Hopefully you can join us on STV2. We'll always chat about the headlines and the sporting news from that particular day. And on the Friday, this Friday coming, STV, we are there for our news show, 8 o'clock, right after the first part of Coronation Street. Hopefully you can join us. We'll have special guests, and of course Barry will be alongside us as well. And on the Saturday, if you can't get out to a game, then stick with us on STV2, 2 o'clock until 6, 4 hours. We'll keep you up to date with all the goals across all 4 divisions in Scotland, and we'll have a look at the Premier League in England as well. So there are matches just about to kick off this evening. Of course, there's some great stories attached to a number of teams getting involved tonight. Really looking forward to discussing with Barry Rangers against Aberdeen. Let me just quickly talk about the Rumble in the capital. It's as simple as that, Roughie, because this one is continuing between Craig Levein and Neil Lennon.
Yeah, obviously Craig's trying to make light heart of it, but Lenny's not having any of it. You know, he's obviously upset by the whole situation, and as we said the other day there, it's going to be interesting the next game. I think the cameras should just be panned on the 2 dugouts rather than focusing on the game.
Do you remember I wonder if you can remember the last battle Lenny actually got himself involved in. Do any of you two remember?
Yeah, it was with Morton, with Jim Duffy.
Yeah. I mean, Jim Duffy just came out with a classic line, Barry, and he said, there was a bit of, set to between you and Neil Lennon, and, maybe punches were thrown. And Jim Duffy just looked at the camera and he went, "When I throw a punch, you'll know." And it was just ominous.
Yeah, that's the same. I remember going back, I don't know how many years it was, remember at Wraith Rovers with Craig Levein and Graham Hogg?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see. I'm looking forward to the next game. I wish the next game was this weekend coming. 2 fiery characters, but I just think Craig Levein after the game should have been, just happy to get the win and go out of there. You know what I mean? I thought it was a wee bit disrespectful, and I can understand where Lenny's coming from.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, he tried to obviously inject a little bit of humour into it, Craig, but as Roughie said, the Hibs manager is not having any of it.
I didn't find it funny. So comments like that come back to haunt you. And I thought it was derogatory to my club, to my players, to my supporters, and to me. And he didn't come for a drink after the game to explain himself. So the gloves are off now. I'm not going to dwell on it. I think I made my feelings pretty clear on Sunday after the game, what I thought. And I'm making my feelings clear here as well. So I think you can read into as much of that as you want.
There's the ominous line, Roughie. The gloves are off for this one. I mean, as if you need to. Having lived there for so long in Edinburgh, as if you need to light the touch paper on an Edinburgh derby. But I think because, as Barry mentioned there, the two of them are fiery characters at the best of time. I mean, Craig Levein was no, timid player if he was involved in any kind of battle. But this time around, Neil Lennon has just come across in the last couple of years as a man who won't even tolerate draws at times. He wants the best he possibly can for Hibs. He's got that right attitude about him.
No, I think the good thing for Lenny is he's really taken to Hibs. You know, obviously with having such a long career with Celtic, he's went into Hibs. He's identified what it's all about, and he's very passionate about the club right from the start. You know, and the supporters, and he's brought everybody on board. And as you said, the players themselves have stepped up to his mark, and that's when he gets really disappointed, when he feels that they've just dropped their standards a wee bit. But I don't think this one will let up. And we usually say 2 or 3 days I'll get away with it, but no, I think this is going to keep going to the next game.
It will, because every media outlet will stoke the fire on it. Of course, I'd love to have been a fly in the wall for the PR guy yesterday at Hibs when they're unveiling Facil Reras, who used to play for Hearts, signs for Hibs, and he says, "I'm delighted to sign for the #1 team in Edinburgh." I mean, honestly, it's just a great noise up. Say this, Facil, it'll stoke the fire. So, over and above that, one other little bit of news that, again, caught me by surprise. East Goncalves, looks as if they could be set to bank about £600,000, selling him to Partick Tashkent.
Yeah, but I seen that. Maybe they're letting him go because I think they've got a quality player in Stephen Naismith in, and they might have their eye on somebody else. I watched the game, the Derby game. I don't think he was great. No, he's a powerful guy. He puts himself about, but I don't think he's a natural goal scorer. And Kyle Lafferty's out suspended just now as well, so he'll come in the next couple of games. But I think they're strong up front, certainly with the signing of Stephen Naismith. I think he's a fantastic signing for Hearts.
Yeah, I was amazed Rangers didn't actually make a real move there.
I was shocked. I was really shocked. He's 31. I played with him. I think he's a very good player. One thing you get for Stephen Naismith is he gives everything he's got in every single game. Doesn't stop running. Fantastic attitude to the game, and also he's a fantastic guy. So I was shocked that Rangers didn't go in and try and get him.
Yeah, okay. Sometimes when you're reading newspapers or listening to stories that are out in our profession, you sometimes have to be a little sceptical, Roughie, on the source or where it's coming from and things like that, because when it gets to transfer windows, agents start putting out things. So again, one of those headlines I looked at and I thought, well, Danny Wilson could be on the move to the MLS. This is a couple of weeks after saying, he really is happy at Rangers, he wants to stay, and then he could be on the move again. And
well, I think obviously it's maybe a family decision, because I think everybody knows that going over to America, it's a fantastic lifestyle. Yeah, he's been at Rangers a while now. He's obviously been down south as well. Maybe he just finds that it's another avenue for his family to go there. Obviously Rangers haven't given him a contract or anything to think about. So obviously he's got another option. Maybe somebody's approached him, told him what's on the table over there, and maybe he thinks that's his next career move.
Yeah, I always look at it with that look of saying, okay, that's the agent cranking it up, Barry. Am I being too cynical?
No, you've got a good point. I know his contract runs out in the summer. For me, over the last month, certainly since Bruno Alves came out of the team, he's become a real leader at the back for me. I think I've been really impressed with his performances. Again, I was at Rangers when Danny was coming through and he had so much potential. I thought he was destined to go to the top. I know he went down to Liverpool and it didn't really happen for him, and he's come up and it's been a bit stop-start for him. But certainly over the last month or so, he's been fantastic at the back, and I'm surprised again that Rangers aren't sitting down with him and trying to get him tied up in a longer deal.
Yeah, what about the Greg Doherty deal? It's something obviously Rangers have been pursuing. They have to obviously stump up 600,000 plus to get the boy. Yep. Is he got enough potential, you think, to take Rangers forward?
Yep, I've seen the boy a few times. Obviously Hamilton's my local team, and whenever I've got a bit of time I go down and watch him, and I've seen him. He's certainly got the potential. Again, young boy. Hamilton keep churning these young boys out. They've got a great youth policy, and I've always been impressed with him. And I like that route that Rangers are going down. They're looking at the younger guys in the country, the better youngsters, and he's certainly one for the future. So I like the idea of him going to Rangers. Just depends on whether a deal can get struck, but certainly the boys get a big future in the game.
Yeah, there's a number of stories all around Rangers, Roughie. One of them, Alfredo Morelos, says he wants out in the summer. Now, I don't know about you, but excuse me, I'm not overly impressed with. And I might be in a minority here. I'm not overly impressed with Alfredo Morelos at Rangers. I don't think he's the long-term calibre they're looking for. I mean, I nearly fell off the chair laughing when somebody suggested that Rangers were looking for 10 million for him. Alfredo Morelos is not a £10 million player.
No, I don't think so. Not at this moment in time. You know that I just think that he misses more than he scores. You know, I know all good strikers do that, but some of his misses have been outrageous. But he continues, he gets his head down, keeps going at it, you know, and he does score goals. I agree with you. I think that there will be better players out there, and if they could get $1 million for him, I think I would be taking that.
Listen, he's still got a lot to prove for me. Just like Roughie said.
That's me going, I'm listening to you now, and this is where it's time to cane you.
Listen, I get he's not worth 10 million. For me, he needs to be up here for at least a couple of years and banging in 25, 30 goals a season. He's not done that.
See the sitters he's missed. Chris Boyd would have double figures.
Yeah, listen, if that's a Boyd in the positions, they're in the back of the net. But one thing about him, he does get into good positions.
Yeah.
Again, he's come over, where was it, Helsinki he's came for, it's not the strongest league, he's come in here. And he's done okay for me, but he's not a £10 million player. For me, if you want to go down that route and want somebody to come in and pay that sort of money, you've got to do it for a number of years first.
Yeah. How big a blow is Ryan Jack?
A big blow. I was interested when Rangers signed him to see how he would do here at Rangers, and I've been impressed with him. I like him. I like the sort of job he does at Rangers. He just sits in front of the two centre halves, and for me, I've been impressed with him since he's come in. So that'll be a big blow. But again, it's an opportunity for somebody else to come in and stake their claim.
Yeah, I think he's another player coming for another big club who really hasn't settled. It's not the first time somebody's come from an Aberdeen, a Dundee United to Rangers or Celtic, and for some unknown reason they can't capture the form that they had at the previous club. So it might be just time for him to bed in, because I think we all saw that he was a reasonable player at Aberdeen.
Yeah, absolutely. Rangers Aberdeen will reflect on that game tomorrow on the programme, as well as the other fixtures taking place in the SPFL tonight. We'll have a reaction from some of those games. In the next part of the programme, we'll look at Aberdeen. Certainly Stuart Milne, we interviewed him just over a couple of months ago now, trying to get this Kingsford stadium up and running. Well, the local planners have backed the Dons, but will the City Council? We'll discuss that, and we'll also talk about the Nations League as well. It might not get too many people excited. Maybe we will all eventually buy into it. I don't know. What do you think? We'll look at Scotland's opponents after this quick break. Welcome back to Peter and Roughie's Football Show here on STV2. You can tell we're all settling back in after that break and the move to the new studios. We're still arguing about football, Roughie, even in the break. That's when you know you've got some really good topics to get your teeth into.
Yep, and it's always good in between, isn't it? You know, because sometimes you don't say what you really mean when you're on air. And then you can have a go at somebody when you're off air.
Yeah. Who's that yourself?
If you're not doing it on air, we could always replace you. So I'm going to get your thoughts now on the Nations Cup. This tournament, I could spend an entire programme explaining the breakdown of it right across all countries who are involved. It's to take away this edge of meaningless friendlies. So suddenly Scotland have been drawn against Israel and Albania. So we've played Israel on a couple of occasions before, Barry, but the other team that I thought I'd get your thoughts on, Albania, they are managed by the legendary Christian Panucci. How should you know his name?
How should I know his name? Did I play against him?
Well, absolutely.
Yeah.
You did, and he had a major impact on your playing career.
On my playing career?
Yeah, absolutely.
Inform me.
I mean, I cannot believe you would have forgotten Christian Panucci.
Well, I have.
Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you right now, you scored from a yard out. They got a free kick that never was.
Oh, right,
Panucci
right.
scores the goal. We miss out on another major tournament.
No, I know that was a bad night. That was a great performance for us, Scotland. It was never a foul in the first place.
Yeah.
Was it him that got fouled? Was it Alan Hutton that fouled him? Or was it?
He scored.
Yeah. Did he get fouled as well? He was
I think
fullback.
he might be the guy who scored, yeah.
Right, did he get fouled and scored? So no, I hope we absolutely pummel them.
Yeah, nothing like revenge in there. The one bonus of this, is it a bonus, Roughie, for us, is it's another avenue to try and qualify for the European Championships with this.
Yeah, well, you look at the two teams that we're playing against, we've got to fancy ourselves, you know, obviously once we get a manager. And I'm sure, you know, Israel of the two will be possibly the harder. You know, I think we played them in a World Cup qualifier. I can't remember what World Cup it was, but we certainly did play them in their group stages. Club-wise, I mean, if we just look at the clubs that they've got, they've given Celtic some tough games. You know, the Israeli sides.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know about country level, but they certainly don't seem to be up there with the big noises. So we would expect home and away. We would expect to
We should be
win
top.
these games.
We should be top in that group.
Yeah.
We should be beating teams like Israel and Albania. We should be top of that league.
Yeah. Well, listen, Barry, can I just remind you, and you're a little wet behind the ears on this one, we should have beaten Peru and Iran, but somebody not too far away from you was part of a debacle long before you were. What year were you born?
78.
78, so
Yes.
you didn't get the flag that was going your way in 78 when it all went pear-shaped. Look at Roughie.
Wish I'd have been born in 78.
Same here. England will face Spain and Croatia. Now, that's a humdinger of a group. And Wales against the Republic of Ireland and Denmark. Northern Ireland have got Austria and Bosnia and Herzegovina.
I'd love to know how they worked that out. I mean, how did it?
Well, it was going in pots, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It
I
was
know.
1, 2, 3 and
Yep.
4.
So they've put in all the big countries against each other,
Yep.
thinking they're going to qualify anyway.
It's the top seeds are all in together. I think it's 4 stages, isn't it?
Yeah. It's
4
going
pots,
to
sorry.
be, it's across League A, League B, League C and League D as well, and then eventually we'll get 4 positions that will get into the European Championship.
Well, if you
as
look
well.
at the other 3 in the groups, it looked as if it would be maybe Greece, Norway, you know, in the other groups.
Is there not promotions and relegation as well?
Yes,
That's involved.
yes, they will be.
Well, I would like to think that we wouldn't get relegated for that group.
Yeah, if we get relegated from that group, I think I'll be joining the Daily Records campaign for Stuart Regan to go. It's as simple as that. Which brings me nicely on to Stuart Regan, because there seems to be this campaign in some quarters for him to go. It doesn't matter about that. I don't think his job is on the line right now, Roughie. I think he's taking the flak because there's the plan A. As Simon Donnelly mentioned yesterday, it seemed to be that all his eggs were in one basket with regards to Michael O'Neill. Now, the only thing that I think is a damning statement was Michael O'Neill saying, having spoken to Stuart Regan, he decided the job wasn't for him. That's a worrying line, isn't it?
It is a worrying line, but it just shows you might have been that comfortable at Northern Ireland, maybe enjoyed everybody who was working with him and the people who were there. And obviously he's getting the spin-off of qualifying for big tournaments, you know. And maybe he's in a comfort zone, that's where he wants to be. As far as Stuart Regan's concerned, I just think that when Gordon left and the candidates that were thrown up, Davy Moyes, Paul Lambert, they've all moved on now. They've all moved on, they've got clubs. And obviously, when they went, you've got Michael O'Neill and you're hoping that he's going to take it. So you're back to square one again, and just the candidates don't seem to be there now.
Yeah.
So it's going to be somebody right out of left field. If it's not, I keep saying Alec McLeish.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't be miffed if Alex McLeish got it. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I think he's got enough experience. This job, I think, is a perfect fit for him. My worry over the other suggestions, I mean, Jackie McNamara suggested Neil Lennon. I don't think that's got a catch chance of getting off the ground. Steve Clarke is another conundrum. He's just in at Kilmarnock, he's on a good deal, Barry. I'm not so sure that's a good move.
Well, there's no doubt Steve Clarke's a fantastic manager. You just need to see the turnaround that's happened at Kilmarnock. But I don't see him coming and being the Scotland manager at this moment in time. Maybe in the future. But I think it's a good shout for you. The only one just now out there, no cost any money, is Alec McLeish. He's not had a job for a few years. He's probably at the right age. I think he just turned 59. So I think this would suit him down to a T. But I'm just disappointed that we didn't get Michael O'Neill. In terms like I go back, I'm a passionate Scottishman. I would rather see a Scotsman in charge. I know Michael O'Neill's played here and he lives here.
Yeah.
But I'm just disappointed the way it worked out. I thought with all the stuff that was coming out, we were meeting him, it was a cert that he was going to become the Scotland manager. So I'm disappointed it's not worked out. But I look back and I think we're a bit hasty in getting rid of Gordon Strachan, if I'm being honest. I thought he was doing a good job. I think if you look at the team, all the guys in that squad and out in that pitch wanted to play for him. So I think we're a bit too hasty in getting rid of Gordon Strachan, if I'm being honest.
Would you give, if it was Alex McLeish or any manager, is it a 4-year deal?
Well, that's the kind of norm in international football. They get 2 campaigns to try and qualify, so it's got to be a 4-year deal for me.
Yeah, I think I agree with Barry. I thought we were getting there. We were still a couple of on the park, some positions that we didn't really feel confident with. But it looked as if the guys were all beginning to believe that the run that we're on, that we could go somewhere. Obviously, unfortunate, it was at the end of the campaign and not the beginning. So, I mean, these friendlies we've got coming up, if there's any young players out there who fancy their chances, when we talked about John Souttar the other day as a centre-half, you know, obviously Berra being the partnership at Hearts, you know, these are the kind of guys we should be seeing, you know, if they can do as for the long term.
What I will say about Gordon Strachan, I was one of the ones that had said that I would like to have seen him give like McGregor at Celtic and McGinn a chance. I think if we got to the end of the campaign, I think this new campaign, Gordon Strachan would have started to put in these sort of guys.
Yeah, do you know my only concern with whoever gets the job? I don't care who the manager is. I still have a major worry that we haven't addressed or filled the centre-half positions. I just cannot see... I mean, Partick Thistle might get a bumper deal if Liam Lindsay moves on from his move down south. Is he the type that could come through? Is John Souttar the answer? Is he big enough, bold enough? I don't want to go down the genetics line, but I think we need someone that, you know, can defend, first and foremost, organise a back four, keep it solid, steal 1-0 victories. I mean, you know, I remember Craig Brown being the manager of Scotland and people said you wouldn't open the curtains to watch his side, but quite simply because they were methodical, organised, they weren't flamboyant, but they got 1-0 wins.
And Walter Smith did it as well. When he came in,
I was just about to say that. I played in Walter Smith and Alec McLeish's Scotland sides, and again, we weren't great to watch in the eye, but I tell you, we never conceded. We were difficult to beat, no great to watch. But I tell you what, at the end of the day, we got the results, and that's all the Scotland fans will want, is results. But centre-half position, it is a worry. It is certainly a worry. But you've got the boy Lindsay maybe moving. You've got Berra, for me, is an old-fashioned centre-half, but he's getting on a bit, Christoph Berra. Yeah. He's no young. You've got Mickey Devlin at Hamilton Accies is another one that might have a chance.
Well, I was going to mention that to you. He's now at the point where he's almost about to put pen to paper on a deal to Preston North End. So maybe he'll be on a grass pitch. He'll be avoiding the Hamilton Accies nightmare. He's picked up 2 injuries there. If he could get a run.
Yep, it's getting over it. I know he had a difficult injury. But the main thing is that he's back now, and as you says, he's maybe got a chance to move down to the Championship, which is a tough league. And if he starts to play week in, week out, and his performances are up to scratch, he's certainly one that can come in and play with Scotland. Yeah,
I think that's our only problem. I mean, I tell you, Michael O'Neill is on the verge of signing a deal with Northern Ireland, as we expected he would do. If he loses those 2 centre-halves, Northern Ireland better hope they've got, and he must know if they've got people coming through who could fill that gap, because that was the rock that Northern Ireland built that team on.
Yeah, well, if you ask any good manager, that's where they start. You know, they get their defence sorted out, particularly their centre-halves. You know, you need a leader on the park. He's usually a centre-half, and that's what we'll be looking at. I think another wee worry we've got as well is striker. You know, we've got Lee Griffiths, and there's nobody else really pressing the buttons. You know, usually most countries have at least 3 or 4 strikers that they would feel confident in going and scoring goals. I think all the onus on us just now is Lee Griffiths.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Maybe Jason Cummings can light the touch paper at Rangers and then start to do it on a consistent basis, that he might emerge as well. But I still think we need those two centre-halves. I wonder what you think on that. We're going to talk about a number of things in the next part of the programme. We discussed Mikey Devlin. We'll talk about some other movers and shakers and that Aberdeen Kingsford Stadium plan. Welcome back to Peter and Roughie's football show here on STV2. Barry Ferguson is alongside Alan Rough and myself, Peter Martin. Delighted to have your company Monday to Thursday at 7:30 on STV2. Friday, our new show. Gordon Strachan will be our special guest in the studio, 8 o'clock on STV. Hopefully you can join us for that. And on the Saturday afternoon, we've got Barry Ferguson out at a football game as well. And we'll have, of course, Gordon Smith and Jerry McCabe will be joining us here on the panel. If you can't get to a game, stick with us in STV2 on Saturday at 2 o'clock. We'll keep you up to date with everything that's happening across all 4 divisions in Scotland, and we'll look at the Premier League in England as well. We were talking about Aberdeen earlier on in the programme. I think this is one issue I was going to say off the park, but it's everything to do with the park. The local planners have backed Aberdeen's plans for the Kingsford Stadium. I mean, it's just a fabulous looking new stadium, training facilities there as well. Boy, do they need it, Roughie. It's now down to Monday's meeting with the Aberdeen City Council whether this gets the go-ahead. I think this will change the mood in Pittodrie, one way or the other.
Yeah, I think if you ask any football player, if you're trying to attract top players, they want to come and play in a top stadium, they want to have good training facilities, they want to see a club going places, and if this was to get passed, who's to say what kind of player that Aberdeen would attract. But this is not just about Aberdeen, this is a community involvement. As we spoke to Stuart Millen, it's all about the people of Aberdeen, so this is the first step they've got over. They know they've got other steps to come, but certainly it's positive, and I'm sure they'll be a lot more happy in Aberdeen tonight.
Yeah, I hope they get the go-ahead on Monday, Barry, because I think the whole city, well, certainly people who are fans of Aberdeen will go on a huge downer if this is scuppered. I don't know where they go after that.
Just looking at the pictures there, I think it will kick the football club on. You'll attract better players. I mean, I think I've seen a few interviews with Derek, and he's been struggling for facilities to go and train of late. So you look at the pictures there, fantastic stadium, but also they're going to have their own training ground. So I think if they get this passed, which hopefully they can, it will kick the club on.
Yep. Full marks to Motherwell. We always like to applaud any team that comes up with a little bit of fun on social media. Motherwell released a video which was a take on Alexis Sanchez's signing for Manchester United. It wasn't quite Sanchez, it was Peter Hartley on a 2.5-year deal. They did a video which has just gone viral. It's fantastic. Little wink at the end from Peter Hartley as well. That's the kind of stuff we need.
Yeah, it's great when clubs come out of that, and I think Motherwell have been ahead of a lot of people in that aspect. They've been very active, and they've won a lot of the community awards at the end of the year, and that's the kind of thing that, if you're a supporter, you want to see your club doing. You want to use every avenue you can get to get the publicity.
Yeah, and we like to try and get as many positive stories as we possibly can in the show. One of them is the sponsorship deal with the SPFL for Ladbrokes. It's got another 2 years onto it, and they'll remain the sponsors for I think now to 2020, which is good. The only thing is it leaves us wide open to a little bit of hypocrisy accepting betting companies, Barry.
It does, because it's a big question mark. Like a lot of footballers gambling and having addiction problems, but again, at the end of the day, it's money into the Scottish game. That's the way you've got to look at it, because obviously we need the money up here. We've not got the finances anywhere near what England have got, so it's a good deal in terms of money coming in, but I understand what you're saying. With being a betting company, there's been a lot. Kyle Lafferty's been the latest one to come out and open up and say that he had a problem gambling, so that's the only downside to it.
Yeah, I mean, Ian Black's come out and talked about the hypocrisy of it. I mean, I don't have a problem with the gambling companies involved in sport, Roughie. Their whole world revolves around it. I think we need to take a step back and stop trying to be holier than thou. You have to make choices in life. You have to educate people And the PFA in Scotland, the PFA in England as well, are educating players on, yes, they may well be betting companies involved in the game, but you have to show restraint and not break the laws, which, you know, in games that you're playing in, which I think is fair comment. I think there's a natural distinction between a sponsorship deal and how you live your life in bets on football. It's a no-go.
Yeah, I've said it all along. I think it's all about the individual. It's about the individual who has an addiction. The first thing is you need to want to be helped. There's enough people out there will give you advice to go to, you know, but I think a lot of people out there, you know, think they can just get on with it and nothing will happen, but you really need personally yourself to do something about it. So I agree with you. I think the money that's coming into the game will filter down to all the clubs and all the divisions, and that's the benefit of it.
Yeah, I don't think we can be too precious about these things. I understand the concerns for individuals who cannot show restraint and get involved in the addiction of it.
But they can get help.
Well,
I mean, the PFA are there for anybody who's got any problems at all.
Yeah, absolutely. I accept that, Roughie, and I think there has to be a safety net when someone just can't seem to get out of it. I think we need to provide that safety net as well, but there needs to be an education at you know, the grassroots level on it's in place, you do it at your peril, you know the pitfalls. Joey Barton's come out and mentioned, Barry, that he thinks half of the players in England are all guilty of betting on football matches.
I think what you've just said there a minute ago is perfect. I think you've got to get into grassroots. These young boys that are going in full time, let them know the downfalls and the pitfalls or whatever you want to call it. But Joey Barton's comment about what did they say, half of English football's gambling. I mean, I seen it with my own eyes when I was down in England and also up here. There is a problem, but there's laws in place now. It's simple. If you're caught betting, you're suspended. So don't bet.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, no need to be so abrupt about it. I won't bet after all then. The one thing I was going to ask you guys, and again it's all subjective, we were looking at the games that have taken place last night in Scotland. One of them that took place last night is the Carabao Cup, and Manchester City have booked their place in the final. Aguero scored. I wonder, who do you think's the most complete striker? Or the best striker in the English Premier League of all the foreign players and the home-based players?
The guy you mentioned there, Aguero, for me, he's the complete striker. Great on the ball, great movement, and scores goals for fun. So he's the best striker down in the England Premier League for me.
Yeah, I just think he's magnificent, Roughie. I mean, he's all-round game sensational.
But it's amazing, and I think we'd all agree that he is the best striker, yet he's not a regular.
No.
You know, the manager sees that a formation that he's going to be picked, and if it's a certain formation, he leaves him out and he puts him on the bench. But any time he comes on, you're right, he's fantastic.
I mean, I'm not dismissing, I don't think we should be at a situation where we dismiss Harry Kane completely out of the picture because he's got his own qualities, but I think as a guy who's got unbelievable skill, can actually bring other players into the game, but is lethal around the box as well. I just think, and he's got that classic, you know, I know there was a link between him and Maradona, you know, off the field, but he's got that classic low centre of gravity as well.
Yeah, but you mentioned Harry Kane. I don't. If he keeps going the way he's going, in a year or two, he could be up there with him. He's got the potential, because again, he's another goal-scoring machine. But for me, just now, at this moment in time, Aguero is the top man down in the English Premier League.
Can Man City win the quadruple?
Yeah, they've certainly got the quality, and it looks to me they're going to go out and sign another couple of players. I know they missed out on Sanchez, who I think would have been an ideal signing for them, but Man United have won a watch there. But no, I think they've got a real chance. But Champions League, I'll still go with what I fancy. I still fancy Real Madrid for that.
Yeah.
So they have got a chance, but
yeah, I'm no doubt they've got a chance, Roughie. I just wonder if it's. I can't see them do it, but boy, it would be no mean feat. I mean, I look back at, I think Liverpool were in a situation where they won the League Cup, the League Championship, and the European Cup. Manchester United were unbelievable in their treble as well. You know, they won the Champions League and the Premier League and the FA Cup. but to win 4 would just set them apart. He's got so many options right across that field. I love watching. I'm not a big fan of Man City as a club, but I love watching them.
No, I think if Pep Guardiola says no, they can't do it, then I believe him that they can't do it. But I agree with Champions League would be the stumbling block. I still don't think defensively or goalkeeping wise that they've got
Do you know
people
like that
there.
goalkeeper?
I think he's a hit and a miss. You know, I've seen him. You know that some fantastic games and then silly mistakes. And I think when you go into the latter stages of the Champions League semi-finals, there's games that are so tight. You need a defence and you need a goalkeeper who's going to make these saves that win it for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, they could still nip in and get Johnny Evans as well, which is absolutely amazing. I mean, Arsenal are now in the race for him too.
Yeah, I remember watching him. I think it was Scotland versus Ireland. Was it Parkhead? I thought he was absolutely immense. For a centre half to just stroll about, can completely control the game, comfortable on the deck, prepared to make passes, and be an old centre half as well. Yeah, I think he'd be a great signing.
I think his game's come on since he left Man United because he's went down to West Brom and he's got regular game time. I know a lot of people have questioned his age, but is he 30, 31?
Yeah.
But I still think he's a top player. And Man City, I'll agree with Roughie that they are a bit short at centre back. I don't fancy the big boy Mangala. I'm not fancying him.
Yeah, okay. There you have it. You get an opinion. Barry's on. We've obviously got to have a chat with him and just mention to him that he needs to take more responsibility. He needs to dig in a little in the midfield when we're arguing with each other. That will come over the next few weeks. Look at his face. Thanks to Barry Ferguson for joining us on the programme. Tomorrow, Hugh McDonald of the Daily Mail will be our special guest on the programme. But from Roughie, from Barry and myself, thanks for watching. Good night.